Right now, as you read this, you think everyone else is experiencing the same now, the same present moment. Your friend across town, someone on the other side of the world. Everyone is living through this same instant, this same slice of time. But you're wrong. There is no universal now. No shared present moment. Einstein proved it. Two events that happen at the same time for you do not happen at the same time for someone moving relative to you. Simultaneity is not absolute. It's relative, personal, dependent on your motion through space. And this isn't just physics. This changes everything. It means your present moment is yours alone. Your now is not my now. We're each living in our own personal timeline, our own slice of reality. And those slices don't line up. They never have. They never will. And once you understand this, once you really grasp what Einstein discovered, it destroys your intuition about time, about existence, about what it means to be alive in this moment. Because this moment, this now you're experiencing, doesn't exist for anyone else. Not really. Not in the way you think. Let me show you why. Let's start simple. You're standing on a train platform. A train passes by, moving fast. 50 meters per second. On the train, at the exact center, someone lights a lamp. The light spreads out in all directions, forward and backward along the train. Now, from the perspective of the person on the train, the light reaches the front and back of the train at the same time, simultaneously, because the light travels at the same speed in both directions, and the front and back are the same distance from the center. Simple geometry, equal distance, same speed, same time, but now consider your perspective. You're standing still on the platform, watching this happen. You see the train moving, and you see the light spreading. But here's the thing. The back of the train is moving toward where the light was emitted. The front of the train is moving away. So from your perspective, the light reaches the back of the train before it reaches the front, because the back moved into the light, and the front moved away from it. Same light, same train, but different order of events. For the person on the train, the light hits front and back simultaneously. For you on the platform, it hits the back first. Who's right? Einstein's answer is both. And neither. Both observations are equally valid. There is no privileged reference frame. No absolute perspective that defines what really happens. The person on the train is not wrong. You on the platform are not wrong. You're both right. But you're observing different realities, different orderings of events. And this is not an illusion. This is not a trick of perception. This is the actual structure of space-time. Events that are simultaneous in one frame of reference are not simultaneous in another. There is no universal clock. No cosmic now that sweeps across the universe synchronizing everything. Chimis local personal, relative to motion. And this means the present moment, the now you're experiencing right now, is not shared. It's yours, uniquely, and everyone else has their own now. Slightly different, offset, depending on their velocity relative to you, but it gets stranger. Much stranger. Imagine two events, A and B happening far apart in space, on opposite sides of the galaxy. For you, sitting still, they happen simultaneously, exactly the same time. But for someone moving toward event A and away from event B, event A happens first. And for someone moving the opposite direction, toward B and away from A, event B happens first. Same two events. Three different observers, three different orderings, A and B simultaneous. A before B, B before A, all three are correct. All three are real. There is no fact of the matter about which happened first. The order depends on your frame of reference, your motion through space. And this destroys causality as we understand it. Because If the order of events can change depending on who's observing, how can we say one event caused another? How can we talk about past and future in any absolute sense? If this is making your brain hurt, good! That means you're actually thinking about it. But you need to understand this fully. Subscribe to this channel right now. Hit that like button. Share this video with everyone who thinks time is simple. Because Einstein's discovery is the most profound insight about reality ever made. And it will change your life. Let's continue. Now, Einstein was careful. He realized that not all events can have their order reversed. Some events are causally connected. If event A causes event B, if A sends a signal to B, then A must happen before B in all reference frames. You can't reverse causality. You can't have an effect before its cause. So how does this work? The key is the speed of light. Light is the maximum speed at which information can travel. If event A sends a light signal, and that signal reaches event B, then A and B are causally connected, and their order is fixed. A happens before B always, in every reference frame. But if A and B are so far apart that a light signal from A can't reach B before B happens, then they're not causally connected. They're space-like separated. And their order can be different in different frames. This is the structure of space-time. Some events are time-like separated, causally connected, order preserved. Others are space-like separated, causally disconnected. Order relative. Think about what this means for your experience of now. Everything you can see, everything you can interact with right now, is causally connected to you. Light from those events has reached you. Information has traveled. And for those events, there's an objective ordering. They happened in your past. You're experiencing them now in your present. But everything outside your light cone, everything too far away for light to have reached you, is in an ambiguous state. It might have happened already. It might not have happened yet. It depends on your reference frame, and you can't know. You can never know, because no information can travel faster than light. So there are events happening right now, in your personal now, that for someone else haven't happened yet. And events that for you haven't happened yet that for someone else are already past. The universe doesn't have a universal timeline. It has a network of overlapping, personal timelines. Each person living in their own bubble of now. And those bubbles don't align. Let me make this concrete. You have a friend on Mars. Mars is, on average, about 12 light minutes from Earth. That means light takes 12 minutes to travel from Earth to Mars. Now, imagine you and your friend both look at a clock and agree to do something at noon. You on Earth, them on Mars, at noon precisely. Are you doing it at the same time? No, you can't be. Because simultaneity requires a shared now. And you don't have one. If you're both stationary relative to each other, you can define a simultaneity convention, a way of synchronizing clocks. And by that convention, yes, you're both acting at noon. But if either of you is moving, the synchronization breaks down. And there's no way to fix it, because there's no universal time. No cosmic clock, just local measurements, local nows, that we try to coordinate but can never truly synchronize. Now, here's where this gets philosophical. If there's no universal now, does the future already exist? Does the past still exist, or is only the present real? This is called the block universe debate. One view, eternalism, says all of spacetime exists equally. Past, present, and future are all equally real. They're just different regions of the four-dimensional block. You're moving through this block, experiencing different slices as your present moment. But all of it exists. Always. The moment you were born exists just as much as this moment right now. Your death already exists. You just haven't experienced it yet, This is what Einstein's relativity suggests. Because if simultaneity is relative, if different observers have different nows, then there's no objective present. And if there's no objective present, the past and future must be just as real as what you're experiencing now. But there's another view, presentism. Only the present is real. The past is gone. The future doesn't exist yet. This aligns with our subjective experience. You feel like only now is real. But presentism struggles with relativity. Because if only the present is real, which present yours? Mine? Someone moving at a different velocity. We all have different presents, different nows. So, which one is the real one? Presentism can't answer this. And that's why most physicists accept eternalism, the block universe. All of spacetime existing at once. And your consciousness is just moving through it, experiencing it slice by slice, moment by moment. But all of it, your entire life, past and future, already exists in the structure of spacetime. This has profound implications for how you live. If the future already exists, do you have free will? Can you change it? Or is everything predetermined? And here's where Einstein's answer is nuanced. The equations of relativity are deterministic. Given the state of the universe, at one time, you can calculate the state at any other time. In that sense, the future is fixed. But quantum mechanics adds uncertainty, randomness, and we don't know how to reconcile quantum mechanics with relativity. So maybe the future is not completely determined. Maybe there's room for choice, genuine freedom. Or maybe free will is an illusion, a feeling we have because we can't see the future, because we're trapped in our local now, experiencing the block universe one slice at a time, not knowing what comes next, even though it's already there, waiting. We're at the halfway point, and your sense of reality should be thoroughly shaken by now, but there's more. Much more. Subscribe to this channel immediately if you want to keep exploring these reality-shattering truths. Hit that like button. Share this video with everyone who takes time for granted. Because time is not what you think. And understanding it changes everything. Let's go deeper. Now, let's talk about how this affects your relationships. Your connections with other people. When you talk to someone, you think you're sharing a moment, a now, but you're not. Not really. The light from their face takes time to reach your eyes. Nanoseconds. The sound of their voice takes time to reach your ears. Milliseconds. By the time you perceive them, they're already in your past. And when they perceive you, you're in their past. You're never actually interacting in the same now. You're each experiencing delayed versions of each other. Echoes from the recent past. And if you're moving relative to each other, even slightly, your nows are even more misaligned. This is always true. For everyone, you're never truly in the same moment as anyone else. You're always alone in your now, surrounded by the past. But here's the beautiful part. Even though you can't share a now, you can share a causal connection. When you speak to someone, when you touch them, when you affect their life in any way, you create a link. A thread through spacetime connecting your timeline to theirs. And those connections are real, objective, invariant. Everyone agrees they exist. The order might be relative. The timing might be ambiguous. But the connection is absolute. And in a universe without universal time, without shared nows, these connections are what matter. Not the moments, but the links. The relationships. The causal chains that bind us together. You can't be in the same now as someone you love. But you can be causally connected to them. You can affect them. They can affect you. And those effects ripple forward through their timeline and yours. Creating patterns, structures, meaning this changes how you should think about communication, about presence. When someone tells you they're thinking of you right now, what does that mean? It means in their local now, in their personal slice of spacetime, you occupy their thoughts. But their now is not your now. By the time you receive the message, by the time you experience their thought, it's in your past. And your response will be in their future. You're never synchronized, never truly simultaneous, but you're connected, linked across time. And maybe that's more profound, more meaningful, because it's not about sharing a moment. It's about creating a thread, a connection that persists, that weaves through the fabric of spacetime, binding you together even though you're in different nows. Let me give you another example. Imagine someone you love dies on the other side of the world. At the moment of their death, are they gone for you immediately? Or does their existence persist in your now until the information reaches you? Einstein would say, it's not a well-defined question. Because there is no the moment of their death that applies to everyone. In their reference frame, they died at a certain time. In your reference frame, considering relativity of simultaneity, it might be slightly different. The difference is tiny for objects on Earth, nanoseconds, but it's there. And what's profound is this. Until you receive the information, until the light from that event reaches you, they're still in an ambiguous state relative to your causal light cone. You can't interact with them, can't affect them, can't be affected by them. But in a sense, they're not yet gone from your possible futures. The information hasn't arrived. The causal connection hasn't updated. This might seem like cold physics, but it's actually deeply comforting. Because it means presence is not about being in the same now. It's about being causally connected, and those connections persist, even after death. The effects someone had on you, the changes they made to your timeline, those are permanent, etched into the structure of space-time. They will always have happened, always be part of your past, part of the causal chain that led to your present. And in that sense, they're always with you, not in your now, but in your past, informing your present, shaping your future. The connections we make don't require simultaneity. They require causality, and causality is absolute. Now, let's talk about practical implications. Why does any of this matter? For one, GPS, Global Positioning System satellites orbit Earth. They're moving fast, and they're in a weaker gravitational field. Both of these affect time. Special relativity says moving clocks tick slower. General relativity says clocks in weaker gravity tick faster. Both effects are real, and they're different for different satellites because they're moving at different speeds and in slightly different orbits. So each satellite has its own proper time, its own local now. And to make GPS work, we have to account for this. We have to synchronize the satellites, define a common time coordinate, even though there's no universal time. We create a convention, a simultaneity surface, and use that to coordinate the system. Without understanding relativity of simultaneity, GPS would fail. Within minutes, it would be off by kilometers. So, every time you navigate with GPS, you're relying on Einstein's insight. You're using the relativity of simultaneity to find your way. Here's another implication: space travel. Imagine we send astronauts to a nearby star, for light years away. They travel at half the speed of light. For them, the journey takes 8 years. But for us on Earth, time dilation means they experience less time, maybe 6 years. And when they arrive, their now is different from ours. Events that were in our past might be in their future. Events in their past might be in our future. And we can't communicate faster than light. So we can't coordinate, can't synchronize. We're living in different timelines, causally connected but not simultaneous. And this gets worse with distance and speed. At near light speed, the effects become extreme. Astronauts could travel for a year and return to find centuries have passed on Earth, not because of some mystical time travel, but because of relativity, because time is local, and motion through space affects motion through time. But here's the most important implication for how you live your life. Right now, today, understanding that simultaneity is relative, that there's no universal now, should change how you relate to time, how you think about presence, how you value moments. Because if now is personal, if it's yours alone, then each moment is unique, irreplaceable. You can never share it. Not truly, but you can experience it fully, deeply, and you can create connections, causal links to others that persist, that matter. And those connections don't require you to be in the same now. They just require you to interact, to affect, to care. And that's something you can do, always, from your local now, reaching out, creating ripples, touching other timelines, weaving yourself into the fabric of space-time. Einstein himself struggled with the implications. When his close friend Michel Besso died, Einstein wrote to Besso's family. He said, "People like us, who believe in physics, know that the distinction between past, present, and future is only a stubbornly persistent illusion." He wasn't being cold. He was acknowledging what relativity teaches, that all of space-time exists, that Besso's life, his entire timeline, is part of the eternal structure of the universe. Death is not erasure. It's just the end of a timeline. But the timeline itself persists, forever, in the block. And Einstein found comfort in that, in knowing that what was lived continues to exist, just not in the same now as us, but in its own now, its own slice of the eternal space-time. So where does this leave us? With a universe that's stranger and more beautiful than we imagined, where time is not a universal flow, but a personal experience, where simultaneity is not absolute, but relative, where the present moment is not shared, but individual, where past and future might both be as real as now, where free might be an illusion or might be real, we don't know, where connections matter more than moments, where causality is the only absolute, and where each of us lives in our own timeline, experiencing our own now, creating our own connections, weaving our own thread through the infinite tapestry of space-time. This is what Einstein discovered. This is what relativity of simultaneity means. And once you understand it, you can never see time the same way again. If this video shook your sense of reality, if it changed how you think about time and presence and existence, then you need to do something. Subscribe to this channel right now. Hit that like button. Share this video with everyone you care about. Because understanding this, really understanding it, changes how you live. It makes you value each moment more. Because it's yours alone, it makes you value connections more. Because they're the only thing that transcends your personal now. It makes you appreciate the people in your life more. Because you can never truly share a moment with them, but you can be causally linked to them. You can affect them, and they can affect you. And those effects are eternal, woven into space-time itself. So subscribe, share, and live knowing that your now is precious precisely because it's yours. And your connections are meaningful precisely because they reach beyond your now, into others. I'll see you in the next video, where we'll continue exploring the deep truths that change how you see everything.